Now, for the last 2 years, I've had the privilege and the honor to serve as a judge in the annual UST Projector Showdown. Now, this is an annual event where we take the best projectors that are on the market and we put them head to head to see which one is worth your money. And this is an amazing event. And I'll tell you, what I love about this event is that it really brings all this great technology into one place. The data points that we were looking at were far above 23 different aspects that we could look at to determine which was the best projector that would serve, again, the projector for you because you're investing in it. Now, what makes this event so special is that it brings together not the opinion of one person, but the opinion of several judges that are experts in the field of ultra short throw projectors, audio, video. It's incredible just to be amongst all of the talent and the knowledge that's in the room. This event is led by Phil Jones from projectorreviews.com, and it's hosted by Brian Gluck of projectorscreens.com. And we come in and we're spending, I think it's about 12 hours in a day sitting down looking at all these projectors. Literally, we have every projector lined up in this very large room, and every projector is separated with a shield so that you can't see one projector from the next when you're doing the comparison. So literally, it's like having blinders. We look at one projector and we're looking at a specific scene, and then we look at the next projector and we're looking at that same scene. And if you want to see how they look together so that there's no bleed over the brightness or the colors, you have to kind of do one of these things to kind of see side by side. So you'll see us throughout this entire day walking back and forth. I think the last time I checked, I put like 10,000 steps because I was literally walking from screen to screen, looking at each projector at every single scene that we were comparing to come up with the results that you're seeing here. Now, one of the things that we did this year, and every year this project, this review, this showdown improves. We learned from the previous year and we improve in the following year. And I expect that we learned a lot in this year that we're going to improve in the next year as well. One of the biggest changes that I saw was that we actually had a reference monitor. Sometimes, guys, we're looking at a screen and we look at a green and we say, that green, green? Or we'll look at a red and we'll say, is that red, red, or is it too red? We'll look at a yellow. Wow, is that yellow, yellow, or is it too yellow? So it becomes really difficult, especially when you're looking at all these colors on all these projectors to say, hey, what does true yellow, red, green look like? Even what does black look like? So we had a reference monitor. We had an OLED monitor that was there that was calibrated and was showing the true colors of all of the content that we were viewing. So literally, we were looking at a scene, looking at the reference, looking at the scene, looking at the reference, and we could see what would be a true red, a true green, a true yellow. We could also see black level details and also the light level details. All this stuff was happening for, again, almost 12 hours that we were doing this, if not more. And the cool thing about this event is that you find us going from screen to screen, looking at scenes, watching content, looking at things, movement, speed. Again, like I said, it was well over 23 different data points that we were looking at to come up with the projectors that made the most sense and that basically excelled in each one of the categories, and then ultimately became the overall winner of what we felt was the best projector. Now, ultra short throws are my passion. I love TVs, and we have reviewed TVs, and I expect that we'll be reviewing more TVs, traditional format in the future. But the ultra short throws have a very special place in my heart and in my viewing preference. And these projectors you've seen in our channel. Again, I'll say, the challenge is when we're showing it on YouTube, there's always the question, is it too red? Is it too pink? Is it too saturated? And that was all answered in this review. So what were the things that we looked at, right? We talked about those 23 plus data points where we were looking at black levels. We were looking at contrast. We were looking at brightness. We were looking at color reproduction. We were looking at the sharpness. We were looking at skin tones, tone mapping. We're looking at if there was any kind of artifacts on the screen. We were looking at speckle. I'll tell you, there were some of the content that we were looking at would make you sick because we had moving dots, moving words, because we just wanted to see which had the smoothest type, I say, display or content reproduction of all the projectors. And keep in mind, throughout this entire process, none of the brands were allowed to alter or even provide those projectors. These projectors were pulled off of the shelf, just like if you were going to buy them at the store. They were all pulled off. They were never provided because we wanted to make sure that we had the experience that you have when you would pick them up. And that was really important to the team. And I'll tell you, it was almost like a ping pong effect. It was really funny to see. We'd look at one, we'd go to another, we said, this is best, and we'd go back. And as judges, as we're talking to each other, there are times that a judge would come and says, I think this is a better one. And another judge would come and say, you know what? Take a look at this. And literally you're getting like this close to the screen and basically saying, I didn't see that. And then you go back and then you go like, wow, I have to change my answer. And we're with our clipboards erasing and writing, what our updated number is. And literally, as we look at all the scenes, and when you look at this actual detailed study or review, you'll see all the movie clips that we watched. You have an opinion of a projector with one movie clip, and then when you get to the next one, your opinion changes. And we found ourselves going back and forth, erasing and changing until we came up with what we felt were the best projectors. Now, in the actual lineup, just want to give you a sense of what the projectors were. We're looking at the Epson QS100, the Hisense L9Q, which we reviewed here, the 4Movie Theater Premium, which we've reviewed here, the Hisense PX3 Pro, which we've also reviewed, the JMGO 025 or 02S Ultra, and that is one that we haven't reviewed, but we saw it there. We actually talked to JMGO at CES last year, or actually this year, and we were looking forward to getting the projector, but it never made our review area. So we're going to follow up with them to get that one. We also looked at the Hisense T1, and that is a projector that I have right now and I am testing. So you're going to see a review of that very shortly. We also looked at the XGIMI Aura 2. So let's talk about what the findings were. And I encourage you to watch all the videos and look at the content that is posted on this, because what we found, and I was surprised that many of us shared the same opinion. And by the way, none of us throughout this process shared what our top pick was. We submitted all of our answers in an individual page, no cheating, and then those answers were calculated and tabulated together to come up with these answers. So it wasn't me talking to Chris or talking to someone else and saying, hey, I think this is the best. That wasn't going on there. We were all writing down what we thought, and then we saw the actual results. So actually, this video is being created after the results were published. So you're seeing this content as we actually finished the study a few days later. So the Hisense L9Q was the clear winner. It really was, the brightest projector, and it clearly is the brightest projector. It had great shadow detail. This is a projector that I have as my favorite, and it's the one that Nilda and I view every single day. It was just great. Now, there are some differences with this projector, and let's be really candid about it. This is a higher end projector from a cost perspective, but when it came to brightness, this had it. When it came to like the colors and the detail that I love, it pretty much was a home run for me. The other projector that you've seen me review in the past and is in here as well is the Hisense PX3 Pro. That took second place. It's not as bright as some of the other projectors that were there, or primarily, specifically with the L9Q, but it also was a great projector, and also has a great value. Now, that projector I still have, and we have it in our second viewing area. And these are my top two picks, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that they were the top two picks for everyone else. Now, there's different ways that you can use these projectors, right? And when you think about a dedicated homeroom theater where you have a controlled environment where things are dark, you think about those settings. Really what you were looking at is that the L9Q was the top there, primarily because of the brightness and then its overall color reproduction. The PX3 Pro, which is last year's projector, also did really well. And it literally, they were not, when we look at the layout, they were not sitting next to each other, right? They were literally on opposites of the room. Not even where I could turn my head and look at one here and look at this. It was like, here was the L9Q, and then the PX3 was kind of like at an angle over there. So we were walking around as we were looking at this, and it did extremely well. Now, the third place projector was the Hisense PT1, which you're going to see my review in the next couple days. And it really did well. It's not as bright, guys. It's not as bright as the L9Q, which is like super bright, but this projector also did really well. So that's kind of like what we saw for dedicated home theaters. Now, it's no surprise that if you have a mixed room use, and that's primarily what I focus on. We do have a home theater in our home, and it's a dedicated space, and there are no windows or they're blocked out. But what I find is that the majority of you are using rooms that are mixed use. So we have a formal living room, and that living room has 6 windows. And when we do our testing, we try to put it in an environment that is very common to the environment that you're in. And this projector is ranked the best for mixed room use due to the brightness levels. Like the Hisense L9Q is just bright, and we use it as a TV replacement. And our setup is we have a sunken living room, and then the kitchen is in a second level, and I'm able to look down. And we're projecting it on a 120-inch screen, and we're able to see it as if it was a normal TV. And I'll tell you, my friends, when they come over to the house, they think it's a TV. They go like, wow, that's a big TV. And they even want to go up and touch the screen, and I have to smack their hands, don't touch the screen. But it really looks like it is a real TV. Now, also what we had in second place was the Epson QS100. That did really well. The Hisense PX3 Pro and the JMGO were in the third place. So a lot of these projectors, again, are all great projectors, but we thought that the L9Q, because of the brightness, really did well, especially if you have a lot of windows in your home. Now, we recognize that not everybody has a budget to spend a lot on a projector like the L9Q, which was our top pick. So what we were looking for is best value projectors, and meaning what do you get the best bang for your buck? And the Hisense PX3 Pro was the one for us. That was the best value. And then followed by that was the JMGO O2S. That was another one that was there. And the again, that's what we saw. The XJimmy was, I believe, in third place, if I recall correctly. But we basically looked at what would be the best value. So guys, with that, I just wanted to share with you kind of our process, share with you the things that we do, because many cases, like when we do reviews, you may ask yourself, I may not be able to see the quality the same way you do because of, the camera lens only captures so much. But I'll tell you, in live, you had all of these talented professionals. Some of them are like rocket scientists when it comes to video, and just, the overall technology behind it. And it was a great learning experience for me. It was also a great validation experience for me because it validated for me where I thought these projectors were. And I'll tell you, when I saw the results, I was excited to see that the projectors that I had picked, others picked them as well. And that, again, is a massive validation of the type of reviews that we do on our channel. Want to thank again the team, the opportunity, because this was a great honor and opportunity, and it's always a learning opportunity for me. And, just special thanks to Phil Jones and also to Brian Gluck. And again, this is a great service for all of you to learn which is the best projector. See you in the next video.